Today, I want to tell you a story. It's about a hidden power, a skill that can turn the absolute chaos of a crisis into the kind of clarity that leads to a solution, especially when everything is on the line. So let me ask you something. When everything just breaks, the alarms are blaring, everyone's looking at you for an answer, what's your first gut reaction? Do you leap into action, or do you take a moment and just listen?
You see, in those high-pressure moments, our instincts usually pull us in one of two directions. The first is to react, right? To rush in and try to fix everything all at once. The second is to pause, to take a breath and just observe. And believe it or not, that single choice can change everything that happens next.
So, let's set the stage. We're going to place this choice right in the middle of a high-stakes environment, where a critical system has just completely collapsed. There's chaos, there's immense pressure, and there's a desperate, urgent need for a solution, now.
I want you to imagine a vast digital ecosystem. It's got countless moving parts, storage, networks, applications, all working together in perfect harmony. It is the very lifeblood of an entire organization. And then, poof, without warning, it just stops. Everything is frozen. The clock is ticking, loud.
And into this crisis, two figures emerge. They really represent those two paths we just talked about. The two fundamental ways humans respond to pressure. And their choices, they're going to lead to two very, very different outcomes.
On one side, you've got the panicked admin. This person reacts instantly, completely driven by fear. And on the other side, you have the patient engineer, who chooses to observe first, driven by facts. One creates brand new problems in their haste, while the other methodically finds the real root cause. One ends up losing trust, while the other builds lasting respect.
Okay, so let's follow the panicked admin first. We're about to see how even the best intentions, when they're mixed with impatience, can turn a really difficult situation into an absolute catastrophe.
Their path is just a whirlwind of chaotic action. They start restarting servers randomly. They change critical settings without testing anything. They even start deleting data, blindly hoping it'll help. They're just throwing every fix they can think of at the wall, praying something sticks. And the result? Well, each action just starts a new fire, layering new problems right on top of the original one. It's a downward spiral.
And this brings us to a really crucial point. In these kinds of complex systems, every single panicked click has a cost. Impatience is incredibly expensive. It costs time, it costs data, and worst of all, it costs trust. Calmness, on the other hand, it costs you nothing, but it can save everything.
Now, let's shift our focus. Let's look at a different path, a completely different mindset. This person is facing the exact same crisis, but they're bringing a radically different approach to the table. Their method isn't about some secret, complex, technical knowledge. It's about simple wisdom. First, they just breathe and observe. They don't touch a single thing. Then, they ask the single most powerful question you can ask in any crisis. What has changed? From there, they test only one thing at a time, quietly following the trail of facts, not the loud, screaming noise of fear.
And this is where the equation becomes so clear. Patience cuts right through all that noise and brings clarity. And when you are the one person who brings clarity to chaos, you earn something that's absolutely invaluable: respect.
So just imagine the scene, right? Users are frustrated, managers are demanding answers, but the patient engineer, they remain steady. They're like a detective, calmly following the clues, moving step by step, layer by layer, getting closer and closer to the real source of the problem.
And then they find it. After all that chaos, all that drama, the root cause wasn't some huge catastrophic failure. No, it was something small, something hidden, a single backup job kicking in at just the wrong time, completely overwhelming the system. It was the needle in the haystack, and it was found not by luck, but by pure, calm method.
And how long did this calm, methodical investigation take? 30 minutes. That's it. The panicked admin spent hours making things worse. The patient engineer spent 30 minutes making things right. This just proves that patience isn't slow. It is the absolute most efficient path to the correct solution.
Now, this story isn't just about two characters in a crisis. It's really a parable about a skill that any of us can cultivate. So, how do we become the patient engineer in our own lives, in our own careers?
You know, patience is the hidden engine of growth. At first, you just fix problems as they pop up.
But with patience, you start to see patterns, and you learn to prevent problems before they even happen. Then you begin to truly understand the whole system, and eventually, you master it. It's the skill that takes you from being a technician to a true architect.
And the best part is, you can train this skill just like a muscle. When a crisis hits, force yourself to slow down that first reaction. Ask questions before you act. Work through the problem systematically, one layer at a time. Always aim for a permanent, stable solution, not just a temporary patch. And maybe most importantly, do not let other people's urgency compromise your method.
And so, we're left with this simple, powerful truth. Rushing in blindly, even with great energy, only leads to destruction. But patience, combined with deliberate, thoughtful action, that is the true path to mastery. It isn't about being the fastest person in the room. It's about being the calmest. And in that calmness lies your greatest strength.
Hi everyone. First of all, thank you for watching this video. My name is Naresh. I am the content creator behind this YouTube channel. I have created a community for Citrix learners where I will be posting a lot of details on Citrix products and how to work in Citrix environments. I'm going to mention the link in the video description so you can click on that link and you can become part of the community. All right, see you soon. Bye-bye.